a significant amount of the people I work with are gay men who are coming out later in life. The realization didn't click for them till way, way into their life. We can debate why that is. I think our society is so heterosexually centric that people can't, even gay people, can go through their life listening, seeing what made other people happy, mainly straight people, and get way into their life before they ever, ever, ever ask the question, oh, what do I really want? Right? And I know that that seems crazy, but who am I to judge someone else's experience? If that's where they are, and if 40 years into their marriage, they realize they can't fake it anymore, that's where they are. Should they have known better? Okay, but what difference does that make? It's already in the past. There's no changing any of that. What I'm interested in working with is where they are right now and what they want to do about it. I don't think today's generations quite understand what it was like before the internet. There was no contrary information. There were very, very few books out on being gay at all just 40 years ago. And I know that might seem way beyond a younger generation's history or anything, but we're still living from that. So all people knew was what they saw around them. Being gay was so hidden away, it would happen out on a dirt road in the dark of the night. All you see is heterosexuality. And if you want to be successful, if you want to be accepted, if you don't want to be shunned and kicked out of town, much less killed, you are going to toe the line. And you're not even going to think about what you really feel on the inside. You want to be accepted by the people that you love. And when you have very few options, you're going to fall in line for that. I almost did. And I can remember there for about a good decade when I began to come to grips with this gay thing is not going to change and I need to embrace it. I was really angry, and that the messaging that I had been given didn't give me any options whatsoever. And that I had in me this ideal of what was happiness, and that was having a wife on my arm and kids by my side and pleasing my parents. There was nothing else in religion, right? Heterosexuality is next to godliness in most religions. And so they're going to weave in to being acceptable and going to heaven or whatever, this heterosexual model, and there is no option. That's probably why they're having such a hard time learning to accept the education and the information that has come in over the past 50 years about homosexuality, that is perfectly natural, that you see it all through nature and stuff like that. They just can't come to grips with it because their heterosexuality is fused with their idea of God. And I know this is probably foreign for someone who doesn't have a religious background, but that is a big deal. And so you would much rather divorce yourself from your sexuality long before you divorce your partner. But we also find that over time now, with all this education coming to light and people learning that they have options, and that families can be many different forms. Even 50 years ago, to divorce for any reason was just major, major scandal. I know that seems crazy now that pretty much half people who get married get divorced, but that was just never done. And so for a person who's grown up with those ideals cemented into their young lives, it is very hard to see options that can be right in front of your face. Plenty of people don't ever come to like someone like me or a therapist or anything like that. They just live their life and they get through at the other end. Maybe they get a little on the side at the rest stop or something like that. And that's all they want. We live all kinds of lives. It's not so much what how would I change the past? It's like, how are you going to live now? And does it feel good to you, pleasurable to you to live integrated? That what's going on the inside has a way to get out to the outside. It seems that in our society, not necessarily, but the more you can be integrated, that what's on the inside is on the outside, it does seem to be a recipe for happiness. I think we know that because of the opposite. We live so unintegrated lives and we're so miserable and depression is skyrocketing and everything like that, that we never really feel like we can get into a safe place where we can really open these shutters up and be ourselves. And that wasn't even a conversation you had 50 years ago, right? Happiness was married. That there was just no option. So looking on the inside was so out of the norm, at least for, the average person who had a family. So we've come a long ways. Talk about seeing evolution in humanity. Just this past 50 years has been crazy changes. And yeah, older guys and older people have a tough time catching up, of course. Sometimes when I'm in practice with a client, all this gay stuff or whatever their sexual orientation is just dawning on them. I have to admit, there are times I'm like, where have you been? What rock did you crawl out from under? But, we all live in bubbles. We all live in a limited, even with the internet and everything like that. And with younger generations moving quicker than older generations, we still all have our own bubbles. And that limits us. I can't tell you how many clients come to me and they have given their life to their kids, to their wife, to their work 80 hours a week, making money so that their family would have food and they would have retirement and they wouldn't have to worry and medical bills and all that. Who has time to talk about their sexuality? But then suddenly, their kids are out of the house, they've retired, their spouse has died. And some of them, for that very first time, are asking, what do I really want? And some of them never get around till they retire to ask that question. And yeah, sometimes I think they should know better. But who am I to judge that, right? What this country was 40, 50 years ago is radically different than it is today. The need for compassion and understanding is always present. It always needs. And I don't even... that's why I don't really read comments and, online and stuff like that, because rarely do you ever see a patient, thoughtful, compassionate comment. So why bother? For me, why bother, I do have a different opinion of politicians who are in the closet and they make homophobic laws and then they get caught with their pants down. Please roast them on an open spit. But there's some realization there that's going on that they are affecting other people and they do it anyway. And that I have less mercy for, but it's that they are effectively trying to damage other people's lives. And that's where I draw the line. They need to be stopped using power to hurt other people.